A narcissist fears one thing more than anything else: losing control. The most powerful thing you can ever do to them is show them, through your actions, that they never had control over you in the first place. They thrive on attention, on emotional chaos, on pulling reactions out of you until you start questioning yourself. But the truth is simple: you don't need to fight, argue, or get revenge. You only need to take back control of your own mind. That alone makes them powerless. I learned this slowly, through many small moments with people who lived off drama. One person in particular used to throw constant insults and jabs, waiting for me to bite. Every reaction kept the cycle going. But the day I stopped responding, truly stopped giving them anything, the entire dynamic collapsed. It was as if silence pulled the ground out from under them. They didn't know what to push against anymore. It made me realize how much power lies in simply not feeding the fire. There was another time with a colleague who constantly crossed boundaries: late-night calls, last-minute demands, endless pressure. At first I explained myself, justified my reasons, tried to be polite. But every explanation only encouraged more pushing. One day I decided to stop explaining. I gave a simple, firm no, and I let the silence that followed do the rest. The tension was uncomfortable, but it was the moment everything shifted. It was proof that boundaries don't need long speeches, they just need to be held. The same lesson appeared again with a manager who loved confrontation. He yelled, expecting fear, expecting me to break. Instead, I stayed calm. My voice was steady, and I refused to rise to his bait. The change in him was instant. Without my reaction, he lost momentum. That's when I learned that calmness is not weakness, calmness is strength that doesn't need to announce itself. I saw this pattern in friendships too. One friend questioned every decision I made, trying to pull explanations out of me as a way of maintaining control. I always felt pressured to defend myself. But the day I stopped justifying everything was the day the dynamic changed. A simple "I'm not explaining myself" was all it took. When you act with confidence instead of explanations, people lose the ability to twist your words. Then there was the coworker who mocked every success I had. It took me a while to realize they didn't want me to grow, they wanted control over how I felt about myself. So I stopped announcing my progress. I worked quietly, succeeded quietly, and let the results speak on their own. The quieter I became, the more unsettled they seemed. Success they couldn't control or criticize left them powerless. One of the most unexpected lessons came from simply observing a narcissistic coworker instead of reacting. I watched their patterns, their triggers, their manipulations. By studying them, I understood that their behavior said more about their insecurity than about my worth. And once I understood that, their power over me faded. It's incredible how different everything looks when you watch instead of absorb, when you see the behavior as a lesson instead of a threat. And sometimes, the final step is the hardest one of all: walking away. I watched a friend stay trapped in a toxic relationship, hoping the other person would eventually change. But they didn't. The day he finally left was the day he reclaimed his peace. That moment taught me that leaving isn't giving up, it's choosing freedom. It's choosing yourself. In the end, all these experiences taught me the same thing: real power doesn't come from fighting a narcissist. Real power comes from gaining control of yourself. When you stop feeding their chaos, when you stop reacting, explaining, proving, or hoping, you rise above them without ever engaging in their battles. Stoicism teaches that freedom comes from your own mind, not from changing someone else. And once you understand that, you become untouchable. So ask yourself, are you ready to take back your power and step into a life where no one can shake your peace?